Hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. So hopefully you had a great week, and I wanted to bring up a few of the updates that I was able to get around to doing this past week, and some of them include kind of working on finishing off the bunker area, like linking all the exits together. So I can show you here real quick. Let me hide some of these kind of planes that I'm trying to use for shadows, or kind of just blocking out some of the light. There's a couple of exits. Actually, a little more than a couple. So there's one axis here, one here, that would bring you actually into the series of caves here, and that one would actually go. It's a way to get into the bunker. Like there's going to be something related to the story along with these cars here, and yeah, so I've managed to link them all together. This is something that I've been working on for the kind of the last couple of days. It's out of a marketplace pack. I'm trying to kind of make it a little bit more individual, and just trying to unify some of the textures that are being used across the rest of the bunker. Um, yeah, so I'm still deciding whether to just. I'm probably just going to keep these two exits. So as you can say, this one's a separate here, a separate one here, another one here, completely separate, and the one that's kind of through this cave type excavation type area. There's like a secondary, or a tertiary, you could say, one here that's just going to lead into this excavation. So, um, working on, going to work on that as well. Now, the other thing um, that we kind of left off from last week is getting the metahumans to. Let's see, do I still have one around here? Maybe I don't. Um, Getting the metahuman head to actually sit on the body properly, and that was something that was kind of uh, not necessarily a struggle, but something that I was trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. And the main thing that I ended up doing, we'll take a look at it, is kind of just work on the face blueprint. So let's bring in one of those NPCs here. Alright, so by default they start off with just a basic uh, ALS mannequin body, and you can attach some different mannequin targeted skeletons. Now, I wanted to have something that's, for the metahumans, for the characters that you're going to be able to interact with. I wanted to use the metahuman bodies. So for that, let's actually transform this, and we'll use. Let's see. Let me navigate to where that is. In metahumans, and I'm going to use Lucian from last time because I have everything downloaded for him. So let's start with the body. Let me see, I just wanted to find the right one. Alright, so you'll see some skewing around here just because these meshes are not they're not the metahuman skeleton meshes. So I'm just going to update that here. but I wanted to have the skeleton mesh asset using the proper skeleton. And then also for the animation blueprint, let's see, how did I call that? I think it was like meta or something. Meta ALS, I think it might be this one. Alright, so now let's add the rest of the body pieces, because right now they're still just the pieces from that have the skeleton, like the ALS V4 skeleton, which is basically just a mannequin with a couple with some extra virtual bones. So let's add that in. Let me see where that one is at, because I think there's been some kind of some things that got slightly misplaced around my directory here. Yeah, I'm just digging away through this directory. Guessing we can start with the mesh, just so that you know, we get something looking at us, right? And let's take a look at the mesh here. So I'm gonna go with Lucian's face mesh. There it is. And now I just need to find the skeleton to actually kind of, you know, marry the two, right? And let me see where I can find that. I wish I would have been a little bit more organized when I was placing all of these around here. There it is. Okay, and it's also kind of an issue that the previews don't show up timely. I'm not sure if it's just that the asset is like a pretty heavy asset that it takes so long to load. But and now I'm gonna clear these because I already have his entire body in here. So for now he's just gonna be like underwear, just like that. Now the one thing that I think I'm not using the proper the proper anim blueprints. So meta. Kind of thought it was that one, because I'm just looking at it and it's got these little you know, kind of the wrists are just all twisted up a little bit. There you go, that's slightly better. I think I know what that might have been caused by. Now I think I'm just noticing it now a little more. There, when I did the retargeting between the ALS animations blueprint and because once you create the animations for this metahuman skeleton, you need to retarget them. So I think when I created that, this got a you know, I might have missed on the mapping of these bones here, so that's why they're kind of a little skewed like that. So that can be easily fixed. Okay, so let's set the head on the body to sit properly on the body. And I just wanted to make sure let's open the proper animation blueprint here. that I'm also using the right skeleton. And I think, let me see, maybe I might want to use this one. There we go. That's the one that I was looking for. So now you can see like the arms are, there's no more issue with the arms, and we have a metahuman body, we have the metahuman head, and now let's just put these together. I thought that I kind of had that fixed where there wasn't any problems with it, but apparently I missed to reset that to 0. Okay, so now there's only another issue that I managed to find is you remember this kind of shading oddity that's happening here. So that, as far as I can tell, at least in my case and with the lighting that I have set up, is due to this one parameter that's in the in this material. And I kind of thought that I had it set, and it's something related to, it's got kind of an odd little name. It's not a subsurface, it's a, let me see if I can find it. There's so many materials here. It's all over the top. Where is it? Skin scattering. So this skin scattering parameter, like I said, I kind of thought, I think this is kind of like a master material, or relies on a master material that whenever you import a new metahuman, it gets reset. Because I did set this one back to 0. So now let's take a look at the head, and setting this to 0 fixes your troubles. And also kind of the blending that was happening between these, because I previously had set the blending, or the body material, to have that skin scattering to 0, and at least that way I don't have any more issues. And now the part of what kind of doing this setup, because at this point, let me go into this blueprint here, because there's some changes to how these are parented. So let's take a look at that real quick. Oh, it actually opened on a different window. So now I have the face, and I'm not parenting the face to any of the bones, because if you remember, I was trying to make it so that you know, when the NPC was turning around towards you, like the rest of his shoulders that were attached to the face would follow you along. So I reverted back in the construction script to the way this was set up. Let's see. Did I? At least I thought I did. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, I guess I did not. Huh. I was kind of under the impression that I did end up using the leader post component, but let's see, maybe I managed to miss a save. Let's see what happens once I interact with this guy. Because what I wanted to show you is that I've moved some of the functionality for him looking at you into the face anim blueprint. So let's also open that up in the meantime, since we're here. And I'll show you some of the changes that I've done to this. Okay, let's jump into game mode. Actually, first I want to make sure that I'm jumping at the right place in the level, and it looks like it's player start bunker, so it's the right place. Actually, no, cancel, because I want it started here. Yes, plane editor. And also another thing that I wanted to mention as an update that kind of took me a little bit of time, probably a day I've invested in it, is I managed to build the game, or at least the test level. So the building works fine, which is great. I wasn't running into any big issues, and the ones that I've had I was able to fix. It was just something related to animations. So yeah, I'm happy that the build worked out, like the packaging the project basically, not if you're thinking of building lighting, no, it's just packaging the project. Okay, so I guess this one, oh, I put it in this bunker parking garage level, which will also serve as a transition level. And let's see, I want to move it to the level that I'm actually loading, which is here. Alright, let's move it on there, and there it is. And now let's see about interacting with him and see what happens to the shoulders and when he looks at you, if he does. That's what we're hoping for. Alright, so there he is. He's already looking at you. And as you can tell, the shoulders follow along. There's also one of the things that I've added is you can also have the eyes, or just the eyes, follow you along. So what I did do is, in the face blueprint, if you take a look at this little thing here, I did go through some of the videos from Epic on this, and there's this little thing which at the beginning is empty, like there's nothing connected to this for the copy pose from mesh. And if you recall, if in here I would set the leader pose component, the head would not, the face blueprint would not be applied to that to the face. So I've left this aside, and what I did in the face anim blueprint, I'm actually getting the mesh, and I'm copying the pose from mesh, and I'm setting the base body pose, kind of like the starting pose of the head in this work. This is the face, but you know, you got the head, the shoulders, and from the body pose, I'm actually just using these nodes look at for the NPC to look at you. So let's take a look. If I was to bypass this look at for the head bone, he should only follow you with his eyes. So let's take a look. So as you can see, there's a slight turn in the head, only because his moving like the is following you with the entire body, right? Just because of the, if I have the AI set focus node so that he can turn towards me. But if you look at his eyes, he's following you around. And that's pretty cool. Now you'll notice that that issue with his skin scattering is still happening, just because at this point this is changing to an LOD 0. So if you do run into that issue, that was the solution that I had. It was to and I've only set it to this one, which was LOD 0. But I think the best case would be to set it up in your master material. So in here, there's probably like a skin scattering. That's set to 0. And so let's take a look at why that, because that's what I kind of thought, that I had already set that to 0 in like the master material. So let's look for scattering, skin scattering. There you go. So yeah, I did set this to 0. Also in this case, let's see what's happening. It's probably like some of the other, like the LOD 1 still has it on set to 1, so I just need to revert this to the default value that I've just set in the master. So I'm just going to go through each one of these and set them to that value. So now there it goes. That issue with the weird, like I was kind of thinking in the beginning it's something related to the scattering. I'm not entirely sure how to fix it, but turning that to 0 kind of alleviates, in this case, my issue. Hopefully you don't have it if you do use metahumans. Okay, so I wanted to get these in for each one of these. Where is it? Where's the head here? So I've done LOD2 as well. Let's do LOD3, LOD4, and LOD5. There's so many LODs for this material. Alright, so this one's going to be skin scattering, setting this to 0. Not that it matters at this once it's like in LOD, once LOD 4 or 5 is being applied, that's probably not going to be noticeable anyways. But I just wanted to keep it consistent. Okay, so that looks like those might be set for those items. So I'm just gonna kind of clean up this tabs here. Oh, I forgot there's like this little message. Sometimes I wish like when they have these message, I'm not sure why they kept the same. It should be like a different type of tint to this little pop-up, because it was just sitting off to the side and I didn't really on the one of my other screens, and I didn't really notice it. So alright, so let's kind of connect the head back in here. Just do a quick save. So there he goes. He turns his body as well as his head and his eyes. So I think to me that looks a little bit more realistic. Of course, it's probably going to look even better once he's dressed. But for now, I wanted to start off and just have this one singular mesh for the body. That way, and kind of main thing would have been was to figure out the connectivity between the head, you know, where the kind of this area where the shoulders end, and like if I was to bump that up a little bit, you know, so having these kind of merged together as best as possible, and I think it's working out pretty well with that copy from mesh, this node here. So in order to set this, if you go into your event graph and like on I've implemented this node with blueprint initialize animation to get the Oni actor, which is that NPC friendly, and then get its mesh and set the mesh. So it's only done at the initialize animation, and then the rest of it is from the main character player, where if that one's valid, namely if you get into his interaction range, then we can set the main character location so that the NPC looks towards that location. Okay. So with that said, let's see, what were some of the other changes? Most of them were related to, I've kind of worked on the lighting a little bit, and I'm not going to need these, so I'm just going to close tabs to the right. Let me close bridge. Yeah, so worked a little bit on some of the lighting, as well as trying to right now it's still not perfect. I still get quite a bit of white, but I mean I do like having some of these spotlights around. I mean, I guess you can like adjust them a little bit just so that they kind of cast it at a different angle. Also worked a little bit on some of the materials around here, kind of some of the placements of these vents. And yeah, the biggest thing was trying to get these all these areas connected, like namely this area here, which is one of the exits out of the bunker onto this end, and then this big one here that's kind of like a utility area that you kind of can go down here and also exit the bunker up top and through here. Then there's like the service elevator, and also you can go down the stairs. And yeah, I mean there's the lighting from outside that's happening here. So like in the case of this, that's why I've used some of these black planes here, or like meshes, so that I can uh, better control where the light is going. And I mean this is going to be under the terrain, so I'm not worried about that. But at least for here, I think it's good to have. So let's kind of place this somewhere around here, especially since this is like a this particular mesh is does not have a thickness, and it's not two-sided, so it doesn't block that light. Alright, so and then that service elevator ends here, and then it exits right into that utility room where like the generator is, the water pump, and some of the other type of facilities, right? And then here I was working on some of the lights, and I guess I didn't turn it back on. So let's see, what can I turn on here to not make it too complex. I guess that one could be one of them. And just making this angle a little bit bigger. Just like that. And maybe even bumping the indirect intensity, just so that there's kind of some of the bounce light around these areas back here. And let's reset this back to a little bit of more of a colder color. There. Okay. So that's a little bit better. I mean, even this one, I guess we could be making it of the intensity a little bit higher, like that. Okay, that's better. And you're probably familiar with this area around here as well, which leads into the bunker, which is also pretty dark. Let's turn on some of the lights, just like that, and make this also a brighter light. Actually 3000 might do it. There we go. And let's turn this one on as well. And we can reduce the angle for this particular one to be a little smaller, just like that. There it goes. Alright, let's bump this up. I think 2000 might be a good default for all of them, but yeah, I think that should work out. Alright, and on this floor, let's turn this light on. There it goes. Okay, still quite okay. There's a little bit of red there. It's only like on the elevator shaft that's I got a little bit too many lights. I might just kind of delete some of them and try and bump the intensity on one. Oh, hey Heaven's Disciples, how are you? You know what? I've never gotten to that point. I've never had too many lights either, so like right now I feel like I have too many lights. I'll have to be honest with you, but no, I have never gotten that. And because I think at that point it will also turn off some of those lights. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's I'm doing well too. Thank you so much. It's very cold over here, but yeah, aside from that, it's pretty good. So, and I think I think that warning, if I'm not mistaken, happens for the spotlights. So I have a combination of spotlights and rectangular lights, and I'm not sure if to me, I think they're kind of the same, but in the engine realm, they might be different. I kind of remember it from way back. I was using like I think it was like a project from the marketplace or something like that. They had a bunch of these lights, and they were all baked. And once I turned it off onto the real-time lighting, that warning showed up. And there were, I believe, there were a bunch of spotlights. Well, so there's also like uh, what I've tried is, and I think maybe I'm not sure if you're referring to this, that you can with Lumen you can use emissive. So emissive lighting will or emissive materials will also emit lighting, but from what I've found, it's really noisy, and so that was the only thing that I wasn't very satisfied with. Yeah, and this is, well, at least that's how I noticed it. We can actually take a look at it. So let's take this light for example here. This is from this underground bunker package that I had from way back when. So this one I believe has a, let's see, has an emissive on this. So I'm going to try and turn off the light source to not affect the world. And let's see if I can bump up that emissive on the actual material and see what happens. I can recall which one of these is the proper one. Yeah, let me try and actually change this to my material. Emissive. Basic emissive. That wasn't it. Alright, so let's try this one being a default white. Alright, so at least that way I can control the multi for this. I was kind of thinking that, at least that's how I recall, that the emissive was also casting light, but why? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, yeah, this is what I didn't really like about it. Like, when you look around, it's just like, especially, it looks like, especially on translucent and decal type materials, you can see like there's all this flickering going on. And I'm not, see, like, it doesn't really, it's not a consistent light from what I can tell. I mean, it's cool, it's probably cool for like this little bounce lighting around itself, but I think if you bump it up too much, let's see, maybe I bumped it up too much. That could be also part of it. So I guess to this level, when it's actually, it's not really contributing too much of lighting around it. Let me delete this thing here as well. It could be working. Yeah, I mean that's actually pretty good. And also it's also like noisy surfaces that I have here, so that kind of hides a little bit that as well, so that could work. And let's see, yeah, that's, and you're definitely right. That's bumping down the complexity of this. The only issue that I also have is in my let's actually, I'm gonna bring the player around this area here, and so we can take a look once I go into and disable global illumination. That, because that's my only issue, is if I disable, if the player has like a a lower end machine, right, and they want to get some more performance and they disable global illumination, well, then what happens with this, right? So right now it's casting some light, which is great. Let's see if I hide this. Okay, that disappears. So now let's bring the player here so I can like and you can actually do it here in the console. Yeah, so you end up with that, there's no light from that particular thing. So that's why I think, once if you can balance them out, so you don't have everything in white or across the screen, and just keep it somewhere in the, even in the orangey area, it's still pretty performant. And going into red as well, for small areas, um, you should be good. But definitely a great point on using emissive for lighting. And of course, right now my emissive multiplier is set to 50. But if I bump it up to 500, yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit more of this. Kind of. I guess you have to move it around a little bit for that to update. But if it's too much, then yeah, this happens, and that's why I'm not really too fond of it. Right. Yeah, this is something that I could not figure out why it's happening. If it's a lumen thing, or maybe it's just the emissive too much. So, once it's at 50, I believe it's fine. It doesn't create that. Well, I guess there's still some artifacts. Yeah, so that's why I'm still keeping them on your regular, just spotlight combination. So right now here, this is fine to me. This should be perfectly fine for a light complexity, and it's actually, you can actually add another one as well. Like I was planning on adding another one. Actually, not that one, but let's see, where's my light? Is here. So you can definitely add another one, and this is still okay. Once you, probably this is getting bad. It's probably a little much, but it definitely adds to the lighting around here. But that's a little too much. You don't want to be like in a hospital room, right, where everything is completely lit. Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna close some of these things here. Hey Josh, welcome. What's going on? Yeah, a long time no see. Well, I've been trying to set up these weekly streams, and kind of do it on a regular basis, because as I'm kind of pushing towards um, building I would call it a pre alpha, uh, but I'm trying to have a little bit of content in it, once you jump into the game world. And yeah, lately for the past week I did do a successful build, which was awesome, a successful packaging. And so I'll probably the following week I'll do a packaging of the entire of all the levels. Right, so far I've only packaged these bunker areas and this test level that I have, which it does include all the functionality. So that's why I was uh, mostly concerned about, right, where I was gonna test to see if I run into any issues, and luckily, or that didn't happen. So it all packaged nicely with just there's warnings as usual, but nothing that's game breaking. So that's great. And yeah, I'm hoping for the following week to actually do a full package of all the levels that are going to be involved in the project. That's the plan. So, um, and yeah, if you just joined, I was showing a little bit earlier that I managed to fix the Metahuman, so that the head is staying properly, on the body, and that works out pretty nicely for him to like track you, look at you, and no issue would happen with the um, with the shoulders kind of not turning at the same time, like the face mesh not turning at the same time with the rest of the body. So that was awesome. I was really happy with that. And yeah, so I was planning on doing some work on this area here, which is um, kind of plays into the story as well, and it's I wanted to kind of leave it for last because uh, I already had a plan for this package that I had off of the marketplace to use it, but first I wanted to place the other entrances, kind of the I would say pedestrian, right, entrances, where it's kind of this one through like a hidden manhole cover. Then there's this one also pretty hidden, and then the one um, through this parking garage, which which I wanted to leave for last because it's kind of the biggest one, as far as size, and I was based on where I was placing the other two. I wanted to place this one last just to see how um, what would be its best placement. Hey, so I'm not going to attempt to say the name because I can't really read Cyrillic, but how you create wet ground with wheels pattern? Well, so that is this is actually just a texture that I have here, and it's from Megascans, and I believe, let's see if I can figure out what the name of it is, because I've just literally used it. So let's see. Yeah, so if you're interested in using the same thing here, I just have you can find plenty of tech tutorials for material. I actually have a series on my channel as well if you're interested. And so this one, if you're interested in just the texture itself, it's this one called T Mud Tire Tracks. Then I'm not gonna attempt to spell this out, but yeah, you can pause the video and find that out. But yeah, this one's not gonna be. I'm not gonna use it heavily because it's kind of it's unidirectional, so you can only paint it going this way. And actually, now that we're gonna move towards that end, I'm gonna add a couple more lights around here. Let me delete this one. Right. So the problem with whenever you have it on the terrain is that when you paint it, like let's paint some of this. I wish I had some better naming for this, but I'm using a material and just applying different textures. No, this is a custom material that I've created, and if you're looking to kind of create the same material, I think there's like there's a tutorial on my channel called just terrain material, I believe. So it is for Unreal 4, but everything up to the tessellation should work for Unreal 5. And I think is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, so as you can see, this one only paints in that direction. So if I was to go this way, it's still painting in that direction because it's that's just the way the UVs are working. So it's gonna be it's a little limited in that regards. I might figure out kind of a second texture for it. Not sure about that just yet, but it's kind of a nice thing to just paint here and there, kind of just to change the color of the surrounding area. And since this is kind of an underground type location, mine type looking thing, not too concerned with too many materials, so something to give a little bit of contrast, just kind of like I have here, right? So there's the debris coming off of the walls, which is these rocks here, and something to make a transition between those rocks and the rest of the terrain, which is, I believe, did I call it dirt? Or I'm hoping I'm using the right one. So let's see, is it, that's not down, that's actually just the dirt, but the leaves? I need to come up with some better naming for these. Yeah, there we go. So, and then you can have this little transition here, right? So it transitions from the debris that's falling down to this kind of, well, somewhat wet looking little pebbles to that dirt. And then if you have this somewhere in the middle, you can always throw a little bit of kind of some of these rocks around here as well. And the original developer for this had, and I'm going to use that as well. The only problem with that, let's jump into here and go to manage. He's using splines to add these to add this kind of semi-transparent looking kind of tracks, which this works perfect, to give you a sense of direction, right? So there's the tracks over here. The only problem with it is I'm not sure if it works so well necessarily with this landscape, just because it gets cut off pretty sharply there. Hey Miles, welcome. How are you? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do some of this slightly grinding work, I would say, to some extent. Just placing some of these, some of this, kind of fallen rocks around here, and then painting some of the terrain around it. And yeah, I think that's the plan for today. I didn't have too many updates just because, like I said, some of the time was spent on packaging, kind of fixing the issues that I had when packaging the project, and just fixing the metahuman so that the head is sitting properly on the shoulders. Okay, so let me 1 second. I'll be right back, just away from keyboard for a quick. Okay, and back. So, what I'll do is I'll let some of the music play, and if you guys have any questions, I'll see it in the chat, and I'll try and answer it. Hey, Miles. Yeah. Unreal 5 is cool. Alright, so I'm just going to go into unlit mode so that I can easily place some of these things around. And I'm also going to clean up some of these assets around here just so that there's no need for these military crates and some of the stuff. And of course, probably offline, I'm going to be changing some of these meshes to reuse the ones that I already have. Okay. So these are always fun to place. I've always been trying to find a way to have this transition, because I hate having this kind of hard transition between like the wall face and the ground. So having some of this debris definitely helps with that. Um, so is it possible to make a game using only blueprints for logic? Well, actually, my game is only blueprints, so I don't see a problem with that. I guess it really matters on the scale. So there's probably some constraints to that. Oh, Romanian Game Dev Association. I have no ties with any game development association. Thank you so much for asking. I had no idea that existed. Um, so, but yeah, send me. Do I have you on Discord? If I have you on Discord, send me an invite to that. I'd love to be a part of it. I honestly had no idea there's such a thing. Because I know there's probably not a lot of game developers in Romania, and at least that I know of. Yeah, so having some of these meshes, I think I think really helps with that transition. Oh, nice, very nice. Yeah, there you go. So that's actually kind of nice. And then there's also like this flat one that I have that can be kind of plopped around here from place to place. Oh, cool. If I'm ever like that's really good to know. Because like I said, I live in a pretty rural area, and there's literally, I think I'm probably the only one that does this stuff around where I live. And it's um, would be great to get into some like a even like just conference or just kind of networking and stuff like that. That's actually really nice. I appreciate that. Alright, so for stuff like this is where, painting around it definitely helps. Let's see, do I still have the right layer? Yeah, I guess I do. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's kind of giving that a little bit helps even more with the blending, especially around because I think I've filled the layer with just one, that little dirt texture. Oh, nice. That's always good to have. Um, yeah, I mean my only thing is that um, I have no previous experience in the industry, right? So Miles, saying I'm creating doors that open, but I don't know how to make my game look the graphics in Outlast 1. Is that the one that has like the camera? Because I haven't played Outlast 1, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, no, I just meant that um, you know, I've tried applying for positions at like game development companies, and the first thing they ask is, have you had a game released? And I haven't had any games released, or like, because I haven't worked for another company, and that's what I meant. Oh, thank you so much. Well, I can't take all the credit because most of the stuff that I do is relighting things and reusing stuff. That's some of the stuff that have been made, some of the stuff, yeah, I built, but a lot of the stuff is already out there. Um, so it's kind of like a jack of all trades. I know a lot of stuff, but I'm not a master of anything. so to speak. Um, yeah, I mean it's I kind of like that aspect of game development. Kind of like the whole puzzle of stuff. That's always fun to work on. Definitely is. And so Miles, that's a really going back to your question of making my game look like the graphics in Outlast 1. I haven't played Outlast, I'll have to be honest with you, so I'm not entirely sure how they look like, but I would say at first don't focus on the graphics. That's what I did, and this is kind of something I learned myself as well. um, Focus on the gameplay in the beginning. Make sure that you're using the correct engine. That's where I got kind of sidetracked because I started with Unreal, and at the time sorry, CryEngine, and at the time CryEngine looked better than Unreal, and it's I got sidetracked for a few years with that. So try and find what works best for you in terms of game engines. And once you do that, then from a gameplay aspect and how easy it is to implement your ideas. So start with that. Hey, it's me. Using Adobe Fuse for what? So you can drop me a. Let me see. I'll find. Let me see. Where is that Discord here? I'll just post it on. Post it on the chat. I'll post my Discord ID, so you can add me there, and we can definitely chat. Oh, so it's me. Are you thinking of using Adobe Fuse for characters? You know what? I am not entirely sure if Adobe Fuse is around anymore, to be honest with you. Last I recalled, because I tried it as well, if I recall correctly. I've tried it a while back, and I can't remember if it's still around. Um, hey, Chatty on Fire, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm happy if it does, and since I try to do the streams pretty consistently at noon, Saturday, at least Sunday, but Saturday as well. Um, Feel free to ask questions. We can try and think of things to do, or you can ping me on Discord as well. So yeah. Oh, you're trying to recreate Outlast 1 for phone. Well, in all honesty, I think uh, to my knowledge, it's probably I think Unity is kind of the top dog when it comes to mobile games. So I think that's where most developers are going when they want to create a mobile game is Unity. To my knowledge. So it's me. If it's on Steam, then you can definitely use Adobe Fuse for that. With the new setup that Unreal has for um, the new setup that Unreal has for what is it for retargeting, you should be able to retarget something coming off of Adobe Fuse to, like, say, ALS, the ALS project, if you use ALS. And yeah, you should be fine. You should be fine doing that. So Chatty, it is literally um, the name of the stream. Um, that I am on my own. I do have a couple of friends that are in the industry, and I kind of rely sometimes for some more complex issues. But aside from that, yeah, I'm on my own. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. And what about DAS and using Blender add-on can be retargeted? Well, so um, the fact let me put a pause on this real quick. I wanted to show you, if you're interested, something real quick with the retargeter, because that's what I kind of, in the beginning I thought it's going to be so horrible with the new system that you retarget, and it's actually not. So let me show you one of my retargeting rigs, especially for the Metahuman. Let me see if I can find that. Retarget. Metahuman IK, simplified retargeter. Where is that? Da, 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 da. So there you can get a little bit of an idea of it's kind of difficult at first to set it up, but once you have it set up, it's actually quite powerful. And hopefully I can find it here somewhere. Simplified IK rig, that's not it. IK rig. IK retargeter, I think that's what I'm looking for. So sorry, I was looking for something, but I forgot to answer some questions. Well, thank you, Josh, for adding me. Yeah, let's chat on Discord after this. Awesome. So what will the game be about? So this is a kind of an action adventure game. It's kind of in a realistic type of world. There's this particular area that I'm working on right now, where most of your friendly NPCs are going to be at, and they're going to be located and give you missions that will reveal the story. So it's a single player game, story based scenario, and yeah, so as you can see, they've kind of taken refuge in this bunker here, and that's where you need to find out what from. There's also like the enemy NPCs in the game, and throughout the missions that you're going to be given, you'll kind of figure out the story as well. So hopefully that answers your question, and let me see. Hopefully I can translate the Cyrillic to English characters to kind of address you. Roman, is that correct? Hopefully that's the right. Um, that's the name that I should use for you. So Bratella, if you need CAD objects, let us know. Thank you so much. Well, I'll keep you in mind. I think at this point I'm kind of where I want, at least for this initial release. But I'll definitely write your username down and let you know. Okay, thank you. And it's me. Do you have iPhone or iPad for facial stuff? I do not. I am using this Metahuman SDK package, or not package, but plugin that can generate a facial animation from an audio. And they also have it, you can do it like real time via their APIs, I believe. But I'm probably going to generate the animations offline, just to have them offline and not rely on something that might be deprecated a year from now. Yeah. Well, so Chatty, let me get the Discord for my game. That might be a little bit easier to join. Let me see. I need to create an invite that does not expire. Yeah, and feel free. It's a pretty small Discord, but I try to check it at least daily. So at worst, I can give you some input. Thank you so much, Chatty. And Miles, I wanted to do it in Unreal Development Kit, but there I don't know how to add the animations of my characters. And so that's the great thing about Unreal to me. The community and the tutorials are out there. It's just a matter of searching for them, and that's what's great, you know. Yeah, so that's a tough one. Um, I would have to look at Outlast 1 for a little bit. But Miles, have you already settled on an engine that you're gonna use? Do you really want to use Unreal, or you're thinking of also trying out Unity to see how that works for you? Because if you haven't settled on an engine yet, like I said, it might be worth looking and seeing what they have on the marketplace. Because it always helps to have a to kind of start from something, at least to test it out. And that's, I've done that quite a bit with quite a few things that I've had implemented in my game. I've started from something that I saw in the marketplace, and I kind of liked it. I gave it a try. Thankfully, they had a demo, and then I ended up, kind of implementing things myself. So it's always a good thing to see what's already out there, in terms of what's available on the marketplace, and what's available for projects. They always have a lot of free packages or free projects as well. So I would I would not stray away from that. That's always helpful for developers. Yeah, so just having those few things around there, I think that helps quite a lot. And what I wanted to do is actually, from the original developer, they had this like additional type of um, for the like the I think it's like via the vertex normal, or actually word position, that they have this kind of like a dusting on top of this, and I wanted to make that a little darker, I think. So let me see if that's the one that I'm thinking. Oh no, this makes it for the entire thing. Um, let's actually try. Actually, no, that's not the right one. Let's try and make it like that. And let's see if we can edit the roughness a little bit. Alright, that's a little bit better actually, to some extent. I kind of liked it in the beginning, to be honest. This material is a little kind of messy, but yeah, I might just keep it like this because it does provide a better transition from this kind of darker excavated rock to this. So I might just keep it like that. Yeah, that should work. Now, so kind of prototyping this area out, I want to try and fix this road, because this one is a little bit, it looks, I mean, the material itself is great. I think it fits, but the fact that it's kind of getting cut off pretty harshly in the ground, that doesn't really work out so well. And let's see what we can do about that. So I just got some notices from Discord. Thank you so much for joining. Um, once I'm done here, I usually go for, I'm probably gonna go for another half an hour, 45 minutes. And we can chat on Discord some more after this. And there's also like a chat um, little channel on there. And if I'm around, um, if anybody else is jumping on that, we can chat or something. Okay, let's go back into manage and try and fix some of these splines around here if I can. If I can do it. Mesh vertical offset. Okay, that's slightly better, though it's also a matter of, since it's on the terrain, it's also a matter of, kind of proximity to it. Another thing that I wanted to do is actually make this a little smaller. And let's select segments for this, and let's see if we can make the scale. Or actually, no, there's... I can't figure out what this thing is here. Is this like a decal? What did get added on here? Because there's the road, but then there's like this little bit here that kind of throws me off a little bit, and I can't figure out if it's a spline or what can that be. Let's go back into selecting this particular one. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Is that a different scale from the rest of them? Doesn't seem to be. So let me try applying a different mesh to this. I'm not entirely sure if it's a matter of the way the material is set up, where the blend is not. Yeah, this is like way above the terrain now. Because I do like the material itself. Like I wasn't able to find any kind of a texture, especially for roads, that that first is masked, so you can create a road like this on a surface that's completely different. Like in this case, this dirt surface, and so to create this kind of a road that would look like there's indentation, like tire indentations in the surface. So that's one of the things that I do really like, that I have a material like this. The only issue is that it doesn't seem to go so well with the rest of the, when it comes to intersecting the terrain. There's like this harsh line that we were looking at. Alright, so okay, that actually made it look quite a bit better. Now I'm trying to figure out where the other one, where this leftover thing is here. Is that also a spline? Like a landscape spline? Because when I move this, particular one, you know, that's the one that it's affecting. So these will influence how the terrain gets sculpted. You know, let's just delete it. I'm not sure what's going on here. So let's select that and delete. Oh, okay. So there was like another, looks like there was another spline underneath it. Made only by 1 point. Okay, let's try doing that one more time. So I think this is like an erroneous point on this spline that is causing some trouble. Yeah, see, it's just one little thing there. Let's delete that as well. And try and just bring this forward here, just like so. Alright, I think that actually sits in a little bit better. Not so many, well, as long as I can set it up. And also one thing that I've might have noticed with this one is that if you do have a spline point like this, if you hit end, it would just drop it and place it right on the surface. So hopefully that might be helpful to some of you. Let's see. And trying to make it so that it's kind of sitting right on top like that. So there we go. Actually, that's a lot better, I think, now. And I'm probably gonna replace this kind of mud tire thing and just have kind of like a muddy type of ground, and then use some decals to kind of fake how the car's parked, you know, kind of like this one backed in, and have a decal that's going out. Right now it seems like the actual terrain material looks like it's angled as the car is, but you know, I wish that was the case throughout the rest of this, but it's not gonna work that easy. The landscape, the spline itself seems to be working out pretty good. And let's see, I'm just gonna try and like move them around a little bit, and this one as well. Just try and place it right on the surface, and then rotate it a little bit so kind of goes like that. There it goes. Yeah, that's much better. And now if I can paint underneath something in the same hue, like in the same tint that that this dirt one has, but that's not so directional like the tire tracks on this. Let's see if we can find something through the Quixel bridge. And I might be looking for some mud. See what we can find, and of type surface. The one thing that I don't really like about the Quixel bridge inside Unreal is that, well, I couldn't figure it out, how to zoom in on things. You know, not zoom in, but kind of make it so that you can see it a little bit better. And of course there's no, oh, I forgot to actually, this kind of resets once you change it to the type you're searching for, which is a little silly. That's a riverbed, that's a tundra, something or other. Oh, okay. What do we have here? Rocky soil ground, or this. Let's see, what else do we have? So this is the mud tire tracks, which again just kind of highlights the direction a little bit too much, and you can't control it on the terrain. Excavated mud, that could work. Let's try this dry rocky ground. I'm kind of thinking that we might be able to control the roughness a little bit, and let's see how that would look. Give that a try. Alright, let's see, this one's called dry rocky ground. Let's see where it get placed. Dry rocky ground. Oh my god, I have so many of them. I think this one's the one. Yeah, so it's me. Voice AI is for voice thing. Yeah, and I was looking at the voice AI. I mean voice.ai, if that's what you're referencing. And there's not that much variety. I mean, yeah, you can get some celebrities' voices AIs, but you know, I'm not looking at a celebrity to have a you know, that's recognizable to voice a character in the game, right? Yeah, and you can generate your own, definitely. But with that, last week or the week before that, I was showcasing a tool that I use, which is, what was the name of it? Replica Studio, and this one has also AI voices that also have inflections, like in a, you know, like can sound scared or you know, kind of you know, bossy and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of options out there for um, for these voices. Okay, well, so let's take a look. I'm gonna try and replace this one with the dry rocky ground, though hopefully we're not gonna make it too dry. And this. Okay, that's not too bad. I think I might want something that's has a little bit of a stronger normal. This one is not. You know, I can probably bump up the normal intensity. Doesn't really do so well. Yeah, I might want to have something a little bit more wavy like the other one was. Oh yeah, no problem. It's me. Happy to answer that. Oh, and thanks again. I believe you suggested DLSS last week. I looked into that. Unfortunately, I don't have an RTX card, so um, you pretty much. I was kind of hoping for, because I was looking at some videos and they were getting some pretty good performance improvements with the DLSS. I might just add it in for performance later down the line. So thank you so much for recommending that. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see if we can find something else for mud, but because this one is not really wavy. Let's see, what's this about? Ah, this is kind of, but this is just for a vertical, it's more like a vertical wall excavation. Um, Mud tire tracks, this is also again just the tracks that are can only go in one way. I'm trying to find something with kind of a stronger normal, but not so much that it tells you that it's just going this direction, right? Let's see what else we can find for mud. Excavate rock and soil. This is kind of interesting, though a little bit noisy. Mud rock cliff. This is actually not too bad, though again it's just mud tire. What's this? We're kind of coming back to mud tire again. Rocky step. Not sure how that turns out to mud. Potting soil. Dry mud ground. Oh, this is actually kind of interesting, though there's still kind of some directionality to it. Um, let's try it out. Let's see how this might turn out, because everything else is very like rocky surface, and let's see how this dry mud ground might, because it's got a pretty interesting normal. So there's that. A little bright, but we can fix that. So let's adjust the tint for this to make it a little bit more like that. Ooh, I'm kind of liking it. Yeah, see, there's some like kind of like leakages around here, and plus that it's oh, I think that might just do it. That might do it pretty nice. So let's try and paint some of it. Paint. And this one, which one of the layers is this? This is the mossy ground, because they're named so well. Let's take a look. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that's nice. I like that. And it's not very doesn't really, like with the tire marks that were just okay, this is going that one direction. And I think, you know, you can add kind of just to, so they're like all the way here, where there's kind of this leakage coming from from some area, like probably there's going to be like a pipe around here, just to give that aspect of things. And I'm going to try and not paint it everywhere, you know, like there's some over there. Let's see if we can change. I'm going to change the rotation for it a little bit. At least I thought I had an option to that I've set up the material to rotate it. Did I not? Maybe I haven't. Oh, that's a bummer. Huh, I've set it up for like one of the other layers, but not for this one. So we're gonna have to do that offline. But the fact of the matter is that it actually looks pretty darn good. So let's also complete this corner here with some of these assets. Just bring them in. It's kind of the kind of rock fall type stuff that might have come off of the mine wall. And this shape actually seems to work pretty well with kind of taking corners, right? So kind of like that. Let's add one of these in as well. And I just realized that I did not select the proper level to put these on. I'm still working on the bunker level, and this is actually that parking lot area bunker of the bunker. So I'm gonna have to fix that offline. There we go, kind of like that. And then let's join these together first before I jump ahead too much. Let's actually go full screen with this. So Chatty, I actually did a tutorial on because sometimes I do make my own assets, not that often, but or I might take existing things that I buy and kind of tweak them up. So I do have a stream on my workflow between Blender to Quixel, or not to Quixel, but from Blender. There's like a door that I've created to Mixer, texturing the door in Mixer, with the masks and the various changes. Also doing the baking for the textures, and then importing it to Unreal. So it's kind of a soup to nuts, so to speak. Kind of taking it from something that I made in Blender, bringing it to Mixer, texturing it, then exporting it to Unreal. Yeah, so check that out. If you can find it, just ping me on Discord, and I'll send you a link. But yeah, that was something that I thought might be useful for other folks, so that's why I created a tutorial on it, and I hope it might be helpful for you as well. And I don't use Blender 3, but on this occasion I was using the whatever Blender 3 was out at that time. Oops, that's not. Come on, I need to fix this material. Well, so with the risk of incurring the wrath of the Blender folks, fans, because I'm also a Blender fan. Don't get me wrong, I love Blender, but I'm sticking to 2.79 just because of all the plugins that I bought for 2.79 that have not, um, they don't transition to 3. And also, I've already have all the shortcuts down. And if you watch one of my previous videos, when I was trying to map um, to transfer the data from the I was trying at one point to use the Metahuman skeleton with a like another skeleton from the marketplace. So I was trying to map that mesh to that mesh from the marketplace, and the data transfer between the two meshes works perfect in 2.79, but when it comes to 3, it's completely terrible. Well, it's not terrible, but it's just pretty bad. So and to me that was the one thing that did not did not make sense for me to go, or I do have Blender 3.4 at the moment. The problem is that it's just um, 2.79 just works so much faster for me. So that's why I kind of kept using it. Oh yeah, I think that that combination of textures works out pretty good. When it comes to um, the gravel, then the dirt, and then this kind of wet surface. I might work on um, kind of the angle of it. I do like how you know, it looks like I can use it to kind of make it look like it's draining, or there's like a drainage thing happening here, and so that's great. So yeah, I think that that's working out pretty well. And the roughness, I feel like the roughness is just right. Not entirely sure. I think it is I'm using the proper roughness map for that. Yeah. Lately, uh, Epic slash Quixel has been doing these kind of, they're not odd to me, but they're kind of they created these textures with this kind of packed setup of what is it, like ORDP. I'm not sure what the P stands for, but I'm guessing occlusion, roughness, and displacement. Um, so that's okay, but yeah, I'm not sure if it gels with the setup of my materials so well. But overall, it kind of like the roughness looks pretty okay-ish the way it is. Like for this particular texture, it's actually really rough, you know. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's dry mud, I get it, but for my needs, I need something that's a little bit more of a little bit more with less roughness, right? So with more um, specular in it. Now, as far as this particular material goes, it's I'm actually quite happy with it. I would like it so that more of the specular, kind of the less amount of roughness is in like the crevices, right? So where kind of the water would settle. And I'm just thinking of this right now of yeah, you know what, let's do it. I'm thinking of just using Mixer to fix that. So let's just take a stab at Mixer for a little bit, just kind of for the end of the stream today. I was trying to let's kind of change it up a little bit. We did a little bit of kind of design work around here, painted some terrain and this and that. Let's actually jump into Mixer for a little bit and see how that looks. Alright, so let's Mixer, Quixel Mixer, there it is. Hopefully it's just not gonna ask me for updates and so on. Oh, come on, sign in with Epic Games. Let's see, this session is probably lost. Is it gonna send me like one of those? Yes, it will. Oh, come on. Alright, so bear with me here. Hopefully this is gonna make this texture more interesting that way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might be the displacement. Thank you, Josh. Let's get the two-factor sign-in code. All right. Come on, is it doing it? Fetching content license info, please wait. Okay, don't download anything just now. Okay. So back to it. Let's try and make that thing look a little bit better, at least in my mind. Now I'm gonna do a new mix, and this is gonna be mud ground. Okay. The only problem here is that actually it's online, so I should be able to get it, I would think. What was the name of it? It's called Dry Mud Ground. Let's see if I can find it. Dry Mud Ground. Oh, thank you so much for the clarification, Josh. Nice. Yeah, and see, this is the stuff that kind of you can tell that I'm not in the industry because all these are just I don't know. Alright, so surface and dry mud ground. I wish there was a way to identify which one it is. Because they do have, when you download it, they have these IDs, these kind of randomly generated IDs, but it's impossible to find it. This one could be also, this one's pretty interesting too for a shape and the normal of it. But let's look for the ones that we're using right now. And what is that one? Actually, I'm wondering if I can type in the ID in here. Will it find it? So UHPMBIDO. Doesn't work that way. Oh my god. There's definitely some kind of workaround that they need to work out for these naming conventions. Dry mud. Dry cracked. Canyon dry mud. How would this filtering work? Mud tire tracks is coming in here as well? Oh man. Let's see local. Maybe I have it locally, though I downloaded straight into Unreal, so it might not be there. Because the cool thing with Mixer is that you can add that layer of water, and that's what I'm trying to do, based on the displacement of the texture. Apparently it's not there, so let's see if we can. And of course, you can't really open source location because why would it? Why would it work like you wanted it to sometimes, right? Okay, so anyways, the thing that I'm trying to do is we have this surface, and under layers you can add a liquid layer. So basically, looking at my texture here, you see these kind of veiny type areas that I'd like to have them like with water, right? And because like right now everything is just you know, specular, shiny, and I want to concentrate that more on like these veins that would kind of flow around here. So kind of like this thing is here set up. So that's the cool thing about Mixer. Now the only thing is if I can find that particular asset. So what I'm gonna do, because I can't think of a different way to do it. I would like to export these. So I'm just gonna try and see if that works. Yeah, a mixer is awesome. The only problem with it is that um, between um, the Quixel bridge inside of Unreal, the the standalone Quixel bridge and mixer, there's no connection. So literally, this thing, you know, I like to be able to go to files. Let's see if I can do that. But they're all coming through as a U asset, and how is that going to work? You know, to bring it into Mixer, which you know, kind of I'm just venting here. I'm sorry. And yeah, so I wish that I could bring this into Mixer. You know, this dry mud ground. What's it? What are its attributes? How come I can't find it? Oh, okay, so it's actually got a tag of Pakistan on it. So let's see if I can find something based on that tag. I'm not entirely sure. Probably not. Yeah, it's just it brings back all the yeah, and the search thing is just I'm not sure if it actually works properly. Yeah, so I'm not sure if they're doing any more development on Mixer. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what the status of it is. I wish they did because it's just it's crazy powerful, like you were saying, Josh, and I definitely enjoy working with it. But the thing of the matter is, there's still some things that are not, you know, to my experience, working um, as I would hope it would. You know what? Actually, yeah, I did see that. Let's see if we can do that. So copy asset ID. Let's see if that works. And how do you search by? How do you even search it here? Maybe in Bridge? Hey Graham, welcome, welcome. How are you? Well, that was my next thing that I was gonna do is actually just download the assets and import them into um, oh my God! And Quixel Bridge is trying to get me to sign in, even though I just was signed in not too long ago. And yeah, the only problem is that I can't seem to find uh, the proper one when it comes to, because I wish I would have just downloaded, you know, totally fine. But yeah, when you search for mud, you just get a hodgepodge of stuff. Alright, let's try and sign into Bridge and at least see if we can search by pasting that yeah, so basically copying this. I think maybe copy link. Let's see if we can copy link. Will that work? Okay, so that works. That's better. Let's see if we can get that into Mixer to search for it. Yeah, so this one doesn't really. Oh, Is that, could that be it? Yeah, that's it. I guess you have to, I had to like double click, double hit enter in my case. Alright, well let's try it. It looks like that might have been the way. Alright, so now let's add that in. Oh no, I did download it. Alright, so there it is. Let's add this in here. And I'm gonna switch the way it's ordered, then hide this one. And now let's adjust the liquid threshold, bring it up a little bit. Kind of like that. Yeah, as you can see, so this is kind of what I was going for, at least in a kind of a this trial phase, to have this layer of water only showing up here. Now let's see, let's add the depth to be a little bit greater. I think the surface might be fine the way it is here. Not sure what the I guess the detail is just I'm not even sure what that does for the reflection. And let's add a little bit of moisture to the area around it. Maybe reduce the radius a little bit, just like that. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and export this. I think I need to do it like this. I haven't actually been in Mixer in a minute here, so I might kind of stumble. I'm gonna export it to the library, and this one's gonna be a surface, or let's see, what can it be? Mud, maybe gravel. I can put it on the gravel. And let's do 2048. Export to library. Alright, so let's see if now back into Quixel Bridge, if under local, not sure if this is going to show up under surfaces. Let's try. I know it's probably going to show up in Bridge. Let's see if it does. And I can just go that route. Yeah, so it's under Mixer. Here it is. This is what I was looking at. That's how it looks. That's good. But I wish it was in here as well. This is a bummer. That it doesn't show the Mixer stuff. But anyways, let's go back to the actual app itself, and I'm just gonna go. Hopefully, I have this set up to export to the proper version. Make sure is running before exporting assets. Yeah, great. Okay. Anyways, well, let's just import in the old-fashioned way. Okay, so I'm just gonna put him right where the other one is at, so I don't have to go around searching for it too much. So we have that, we have the the roughness and the normal. Let's bring them in. Importing done, done, done. Let's see how this looks now. That could be a good ending to the stream if this turns out to look pretty decent. And it is called, I believe it might be this one here. Okay, I see some changing. I'm seeing that one. And the roughness. And I think I might have bumped down the roughness a little too much. Yeah, there it goes. It's probably a little too... There's a little bit too much specular. I need to have this, because it looks like very fresh water. So I'm gonna try and see if yeah, bumping up the roughness does work for the surrounding areas, but I think it's just a little too specular. So let's adjust that a little bit. Liquid. I know there was like a roughness. Was it roughness offset? Not the offset, but how are you setting this to be a little bit rougher? I mean, that could work to make it look kind of like that. All right, let's see how that looks. And we'll re-import these. Why would they be with missing paths? Yeah, I want to export this. Alright, let's try and get them into the engine again. Alright, there you go. That's slightly better. I'm still not quite happy with let me go maybe to a different angle. Yeah, having this one especially for that layer, which one was I playing around with? Like the opacity. Yeah, I wanted the opacity to be at 1, but I need to figure out how was it through the roughness? No, that was just the roughness offset on the sections around here. Oh, okay, I forgot there's like this little picker here that you can adjust the roughness of this to make it a little rougher, but also at the same time keep that kind of flatness of it. And I could also kind of bring this in a little bit lower now that I'm looking at it. And let's see if I bring the threshold a little bit to there. Okay, so there's kind of like the spread out wetness around here, and then like the deeper grooves have a little bit more water in them. So that could work. Alright, so let's import this time. Oh yeah, much better, I think. Where you get these kind of channeled water around here. It might be still too there's probably still a little bit too much wetness in there. But yeah, basically you can do stuff like that with Mixer. So yeah, overall kind of on the right track. I might tweak it up a little bit just to because it's a little too much of a harsh contrast. I'm kind of starting to like the way it was before, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that you can do with Mixer. Just to have it like towards the end of the stream today. So, yeah, with that said, thank you everybody so much for stopping by, and I hope it was something interesting to see. I guess we're cutting off right on the about the 2 hour mark, which was what I was planning for. And I'll set up a schedule. Not sure if anybody got if it worked. Like a schedule for another stream for tomorrow, the same time, starting at noon Eastern time. So that makes it 5 GMT. And I hope to see you around. So thank you so much, Heaven's Disciples. Have a great weekend as well. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.